So hi, I'm Hanna Vogel. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is my installation. The title is Was, Might Be. With this work, I was thinking about embodying a tension between growth and decay that's reminiscent of the natural world without directly mimicking anything from it. So to me, these cocoon forms evoke like the Venus of Willendorf or big pregnant bellies or directly cocoons themselves, that all these things create growth or transformation or new life, and in that way are really about life and possibility. But then the materials that these forms are made out of really kind of contrast with that feeling. So rather than being about life and growth and possibility, they look a bit more like they're kind of decaying and falling apart. What they're made out of is steel wire and a coating of paper pulp over it. So all this orange and brown that you see is the rust from the wire seeping into the paper while it's still wet and staining it these shades of orange and brown. To me, that speaks more about like decay and entropy and things falling apart. And the paper also sort of forms these skin-like coatings. As it dries, it peels and shrinks and stretches, so it gets these holes that when you look up close at these pieces, they actually feel a bit more porous and empty, so maybe their life-giving possibility has already been all used up and is no longer there. The way that I make these pieces is sort of a two-part process. Before I do the paper, I weave them with a basketry technique that is pretty simple. So I weave these giant forms, make all of them first, and then I will pour paper pulp over them. In the stage that I use it, the paper pulp is pretty wet, mixed with a lot of water, so it's about pancake batter consistency. Pour it on over, let it dry. The rust starts to bloom out before it dries. Keep them wet for as long as it takes to get the rustiness that I want, and then when it's dry, I give them a good coat of shellac. And this installation is different really in every space that it's in. I enjoy being able to put it in enclosed spaces like this. I think it makes them feel kind of protected and like they're safely held together, so they're a little bit less vulnerable to the forces of nature or humanity in general. An important part of my work visually is also the shadows you can see on the wall. They feel, to me, kind of like echoes of the past selves of the lives that these cocoons might have embodied at some point.